Peace to the guys. Peace to the guys. Share the platform. Like the platform when you come on in. But like this video. And then, you know what to do with the comments. Let's change the algorithms. We have a conversation today. Well, I'm going to let the people come on in. Come on in. Shout out to the people that's already in the chat. What up? Adolph's Truth. What up? DD Taylor. Gang. Let's go ahead and share this platform. Let's get things popping in the right way. What's going on? Y'all going to stay where y'all from? So we get started. We're going to have a real conversation today. Real conversation because something got to give. Something has to give. Like for real. But y'all go ahead and stay where y'all from. Make sure y'all share the platform on different platforms. You can share this to Instagram. You can share this to Facebook, to the TikToks or wherever else where people is at, so we can get it popping. Come on in the building, stay where y'all from. Shalom, Black Power, Hotel, whatever you say to greet people, that's for you. All right, so we got Oakland in the building. Who else we got up in the building? Man, there's some things I want to talk about. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you, too. I do have a guest that's coming in that's really going to spit some fire when it comes to where we need to go as a people. So we got Alabama in the building. We got St. Louis in the building, Florida. You know what I'm saying? St. Louis, Boston. We got people from Kansas City in the building. You know what I mean? Where y'all at? Let me see. You got Dallas, Texas in the building. Shout out to everybody. Y'all been here early. You're not on the CP time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're about to have a church. We're about to get it in today. For real. So, as you can see in the thumbnail, well, first off, let me go ahead and get started, get things popping. If you're late, you can rewind it, and you can do your thing with that. New York in the building. All right. So, as you can see in the thumbnail, actually what happened in my home state, but Kansas City, Missouri, to be exact, a woman was shot. A pregnant woman was shot 5 times by the police. Let me repeat that again. A pregnant woman was shot 5 times by the police. And eyewitnesses say she had her hands up, which is ironic, that's triggering, just saying like, hey, hands up, person got shot. It remind me of something. This sister was also handcuffed and was bleeding out to the pavement. Now, this sister is actually in the hospital right now. From what I know at this time, she's still alive now. But what about the trauma for that baby? Her name is Leonna Hale. So we're going to chop it up because this is something that's been going on at least since I've been alive, which is called police brutality. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get it in. We're also going to talk about some key important things today. You know what I'm saying? So before we do that, let's go ahead and shout out to everybody. I'm going to go ahead and play the intro, and we'll be right back so we can get into exactly what we need to talk about. Because I got some other details we definitely want to break down. They said she had a gun too, but we're going to get into that. Peace of the guys.
Since O won't rat on O unless he gone in the membrane. Drank or smoked something that drove him insane. Since I don't do evil with plans to live like a true geezer, I won't succumb to tongue, gun or root evil. Got a reading from a Babylon, and he told me the path I'm on is like a Chinese banker that's lonely. So I cross T's and dot I's. Dead beef like a deadbeat pops. Pops that's not mine. I stay silent with the silence, silent round the salads. Evil green with envy, or green they ain't been around it. The movement's been co-opted, and the streets is not it. Stuck between a rock and a dyke box, and glad it's not thick. I could either chisel or sizzle my way out, cause gate route and blowing my brains out is played out. With mouths to feed and minds to free, I stay esophageal up and suckers mouths for me.
I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Try to get right, so many folks is wrong, man. So you know I keep it on, man. No hate for the homies, no love for the foe, man. We at war, you see, it's gonna take more than me. So what's it gonna be? You wanna be on the free. I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Master self, don't be a slave to these conditions. We was raised to be forgiven, not to ourselves, but those who changed us for them digits and rearranged it in prisons, projects, and a crack epidemic. So I'm raised first and last, even after we finish. Our power black be a menace to anyone attacking our women. We smashing the limits, still standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. Keep our heart from getting colder. If you feel me, I share you. It's betrayal every day though. More hollows than halos, so I stay low, swing low. Sweet chariot, I'm gonna ride the liberation train, go and see Harriet. Ain't no fearing, take confidence and we wearing it everywhere we is. Stick to the script or flip the narrative. The symbols predicted our dominance. Me and my conglomerates. I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Try to get right, so many folks is wrong, man. So you know I keep it on, man. No hate for the homies, no love for the foe, man. We at war, you see, it's gonna take more than me. So what's it gonna be? You wanna be on the free. I thought that I could do it by my lonely.
Now see, nothing makes me angrier when we talk about our civil rights and what we've missed. But here comes the Asians in to join us. Here comes the Latinos in talking about their civil rights. Here comes white women in talking about theirs, the Mexicans, all of these people. And I don't know if some of you are very, very young, but in my experience growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I never knew that anybody who was sent to the back of the bus because she was a white woman. Nobody was sent to the back of the bus because they were homosexual. Nobody was sent to the back of the bus because they were Asian and Latin. They were sent to the back of the bus because their faces were black. And now all of these groups are wanting to come in now and take the things that owe us. And some of our leaders stand up and say, oh, we're all one. We should include everyone that's going in. Every time I hear them do that, I just want to pick up a sock, a shoe, or something and throw it at the television.
I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Try to get right, so many folks is wrong, man. So you know I keep it on, man. No hate for the homies, no love for the foe, man. We at war, you see, it's gonna take more than me.
Support black media. Peace to the gods.
See, this is why I'm not mistaken by these leaders. See, anytime, first of all, you can't lead me when you call an organization rainbow because there's no black in a rainbow, as you all always know.
Yeah, we back. You know that's a song by United Front. Got my brother Ambassador O, spitting fire lyrics. I can't do it by my lonely. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back into it. So check this out. I do want to show this video before we really get into it. So actually, just to backtrack a little bit, all this weekend, I've been thinking about, I want to make this video so bad about the police. Because ever since I had this interview with an ex-police officer, another shooting, another police brutality, this, that, and the third happened right after that. It's consistently. So I'm like, yo. Then I start to think about, I'm like, man, I just come to realize, I'm like, most of these police, or all of these police, are they bitch made? Like, and pardon my French, but I have never actually seen a real strong like a real police that actually do some real police work. You know how we see in the movies, we see them being heroes and this and that. You know, they doing these incredible things in the movies. You never hear about that stuff, number one, in real life. And you always see some brutality, you know, you see some other stuff. You know what I mean? You see all this stuff, police beating up on women, beating up on the elderly, you know, shooting on unarmed people. Let me just show you the video of the sister. You know what I'm saying? For those who missed it. For those who missed it. And yeah, trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. And this is basically the sister that this is after she got shot. And you can see some of the blood on her chest. But let me play this. They have someone that's filming it while it happened. So we only have footage of after the shooting. So we can get more into this later.
They got her handcuffed while they shot her, y'all. While they shot her. While they shot her, y'all, they got her handcuffed. I've never seen. I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Arkansas, but I stopped here to get some gas, y'all, and to get some ice cream for my kids, y'all. My son just watched it. My 1-year-old son just watched it. My 10-year-old son just watched it, and my 13-year-old son just watched this happen. The man ran. She was going to cooperate. She got scared. She ran down there. They shot her. 1, 2, 3, 4. My son got it on his phone too. They got her handcuffs while she shot God. I'm a medical assistant, God. It ain't right. I'm a medical assistant, God. It ain't right. My son in the store. 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 My 10-year-old son in the store. Yes, sir. I'm back. I watched it. My son.
Yeah, so.
They shot her. Oh my God, they shot her. They got her handcuffed while they shot her, y'all. While they shot her. While they shot her, y'all. They got her handcuffed.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that.
I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Arkansas, but
you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, as you can see, I don't think there's anything that you know, a real man or even a real person would do. Like even if let's just say if some woman was arguing with me or possibly even had a gun, because let's not forget they actually just put out today that, oh, she had a gun. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, she had a gun. They put this news out today. Now, this happened yesterday. You know what I mean? Peep how the media does. After it goes in the trend, it starts to trend. But then they put out like, oh yeah, wait. She had a gun. Check this out. You know, so we only see this particular one on certain news media. But let me see. Let me bring it up. Saying that she had a gun. And here's the picture. Let me find that picture. Here we go. Here we go. Now, they want to justify shooting a pregnant person to say that, oh, yeah, the reason why she was shot because she pointed a gun at us. You know, so even with that, so this is the picture that's floating around to say that she had a gun. Y'all see that? It's floating around Twitter. You're probably seeing it around YouTube now. My bad. So that's pretty much the picture there. All right. So, but check this out. All right. So that's what they posted just today. And if you read the article, it says something like, hey, you know, all the witnesses that witnessed, that's officers, they say they think, they use words like, I feel like she had a gun. It was a suspected gun that she pointed. And no one have actual absolutes. No one can actually say like, no, this really happened. Or no one even have videos. Now they say that it's a video cam to show that she pointed a gun. But let me tell you, she got shot in her like close to her stomach and really in her back. They say she got shot 5 times. At what point do you shoot a person 5 times? Because somebody in the chat tell me, let's just say, I'm just going to assume that no one here have been shot. But if you have, wouldn't one shot do it? And not even that. You mean to tell me a pregnant woman is a threat to a person that's been training, being a part of the police academy, and has probably been on the force for at least a little while, at least over a month? You should have some type of training. But let me tell you, because definitely want to get into some a conversation about why do we even need the police in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really trying to rack my brain around this, because as long as I'm 36, as long as I've been born, I have never, ever seen a consistent good officers doing consistent good things for every neighborhood. I've never seen it. Matter of fact, the fire department is more gangster than the police department. The fire department is more gangster than the police department. I'm saying this here. Yes, I've always seen bitch made police. That's it. I've always seen that. So we all know, we should know by now that police officers are just here, which should be called race soldiers. I really believe that. You know what I mean? They are race soldiers because they're literally here to uphold, what's known as white supremacy, uphold this system. They're really here to uphold the system. Because who else is doing it? If they don't do it, then, you got the National Guard, and you got the other soldiers that's going against the actual people. You know what I'm saying? So somebody put, they are gangs. Yes, that's a fact. But, I'm not here to complain about it because they supposed to be doing that. They supposed to be keeping the foot on our neck. The thing is, like, what are we going to do about it? Now we should already know that they really don't keep us safe. Every time the police is around, for the most part, I say it's only small percentage of the time that you actually feel safe when the police is around. But that's when something crazy is going on, possibly in your lifestyle. You just so happen to call the police and they just so happen to be there so somebody can go away. But that's a small percentage of the time. Most of the percentage, we are in fear. You ever saw lights flash behind you and they're not even coming for you, but it just triggers something in your heart. You're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was for me. You see your life flash before your eyes as soon as you see those lights. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. So we never feel safe with the police. Never. Like, I feel way more safe because I live in a hood. I ain't going to hold you. I live in a hood. I feel way more safe in a hood than I would ever feel around anybody else. But definitely, if I'm around police, I'm not going to feel safe at all. Even if I had someone next door, police that live next door to me, I would not feel safe. You know what I'm saying? So we know them for literally doing horrific acts, just like what you just saw, shooting a pregnant woman. You know what I mean? Like, we have a pregnant woman become a threat. And I'll be honest, even with a gun, it's still not a threat. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. But I don't believe that she actually had a gun. Even if she did, it's still not justified. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting how they put that out after the fact. So the crazy thing is we complain about the police. We complain, and sit up there and say, like, you know what the issue is? It's the training. And then we just need to see what they're doing. So they need the body cameras. So you know how long they've been having the body cameras? And it's crazy. So they have a camera, right? It shoots whatever, and then it goes back to them, and then they have the ability to chop it, edit it, and then put it back out to the public. Why can't we have access to that footage as soon as it pop off? Something similar to like a Facebook, or you know what I mean? You know how you go live and you can see things actually happen? Why can't we have access to that to that live footage? Why do they have to check it and then release it? That defeats the purpose. You know what I'm saying? So if I did a criminal act and they actually come to me and say, hey, can we check that footage to see what you actually did? Sure. Hold up. Let me edit it first, and then you can have it. I'm going to put whatever I want to put in there. You know what I'm saying? But like, see, I didn't do anything. See, what I did was justified. You know? So, I mean, we already give these people over billions and billions of dollars into these police force just so they could come back and harm us with that money that we fed them. Do you know what we can do if we put these billions and billions of dollars back into our communities, or our so-called communities? Because a lot of our communities we don't even own, right? But if we put that money back into our communities, a lot of this crime wouldn't even be going on. Some of the crime that happens is due to the lack of resources. I mean, you know, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. You know, so yeah, so they are literally here, you know, to uphold the system that we live in. And we know how messed up and corrupt this system is, you know, and let's just be honest, a lot of police officers is not fit at all. I didn't see some of the fattest, sloppiest, you know, pigs you would ever see. And you mean for them, their job is to protect you? Nah. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. You know? So, man, I was really racking my brain. I was like, what can I talk about when it comes to the problem with the police? And then this happened. I was just like, you know what? We definitely need to bring this up and talk about it. You know what I mean? Somebody said, you know, police or holies, you know, pigs. You know, we could call them whatever name, but really, we don't need them. You know what I'm saying? All we need is ourselves and cooperation with each other to be able to really know what's going on. So listen, I actually seen a video. Hold on, let me see if I can actually bring this video up, because it's a perfect example of what we should be doing in our communities. I just want to show this, and then I definitely want to bring my brother in, you know, so we can really chop it up, what we need to chop it up about. You know what I'm saying? So let me show this real quick. Hold on, let me find it. And peace to y'all in the chat. Make sure y'all share the platform. If you haven't liked the video yet, go ahead and like it so we can change the algorithm, so we really get it in. We really need to share this information that's going on. Let me see. Here we go. Hold on. I don't know how to pause this video. Here we go. All right, let me share the screen and share this, because this is how we really should be in our communities. Let me see here. Bear with me. All right.
What looking for, man?
Hold on.
What looking for, man?
Who you looking for?
What looking for, man?
Who you looking for? Why you sitting up here with binoculars, bro? Why the kids down here? Who? No, I'm just saying, what you doing? My wife just rolled by and sent you with binoculars, bro. Ain't nothing but kids at a bus stop.
There were no kids down there.
I mean, what you sitting right here with binoculars in the neighborhood, though?
I thought I saw somebody that I know over there by the bushes. That's why I looked, man. I'm allowed to do that.
Not with no binoculars. I'm gonna ask you, bro. To move around from right here, because we protect our kids over. I don't know what you want.
You're supposed to. I expect that for
You sitting at a church with binoculars and these kids down the street at a motherfucking bus stop. What you looking for? and who you looking for, and why you ain't nothing out but kids at a bus stop at this time of the morning.
I ain't been here in hot 10 minutes.
My wife just rolled by and just seen you with the, you put your thing back up. Yeah. We watching around here. I'm gonna ask you, bro, to move around from right here, bro. For shit get bad, bro. Appreciate you.
I'm looking for.
Facts. That's how we gotta be with our own communities. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gotta be in our own neighborhoods. You know, we gotta question everybody that looks suspicious. You know what I mean? I come from a neighborhood where, you know, it was you know, gang related or tribal related. You know what I'm saying? A Crip neighborhood or whatever. So what we did was we kept the police out of our neighborhood. It was like, nah, we got it. So if you new in the neighborhood, we give you the third degree. It's like, where you from? Who you know here? What are you here for? Like, what do you want to do? And if you don't have any answers, then you're probably going to get beat up out the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But if you have some good answers, then, you know, we'll give you a pass, but we'll keep our eye on you. You know, at least we have a red collection of who's in our neighborhood today, you know, or who's been in our neighborhood. Like, how long you going to be? You know, where your mama stay, where your grandma stay. You know what I mean? Like we got all type of information. So if something was to happen, we'll know exactly where to go to find you, to ask questions to, you know. So yeah, we definitely give people the third degree. If you're not from there, you know how many times my best friend got chased just for having on the wrong color. You know what I'm saying? I probably saved them from many whoopings. You know, like, nah, you with me. It's like, oh, you with you? Oh, you need to tell them not to wear that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, not for that. Because really, you know, we could complain as people, but we really need to come up with solutions. You know what I mean? So I got my brother. That's actually my brother Ramzu. I'm gonna bring him in because I really love what he have to bring to the table when it comes to this issue that we've been having really hard for a month. And before I just want to bring up this one point. Maybe I want to bring it up while he's up, just so he can think about it, and so he can actually build on it. You know what I mean? So I think my brother Wi-Fi, he's in Africa, by the way. So while he's fixing his Wi-Fi, let me go ahead and bring up this point. All right. So, and by the way, Ramzu, let me know when everything is straight so I could go ahead and bring you up. All right. So I think it's a problem with this Wi-Fi, but it's all good. We're going to figure it out. You know, like I said, he's in Africa and that Wi-Fi gets very choppy. You know what I mean? But anyway, so check this out. All right. So y'all know what happened with the shooting in Texas with the guy that came in and shot up those children. You know, I believe the count was like 15 people, you know, 15, 16, something like that. You know, y'all remember the story? Just happened, right? So do you know that the police officers, you know, the ones that protect us, serve and protect, they actually had to stand outside and kind of watch that happen, you know. So they didn't even want to rush into someone that was an absolute threat, you know, on little children and adults. So do you know? So I seen the story of it was someone that was a state patrol officer. He had his child and his wife in this building, right? So he got the phone call to say, "Hey, you know, somebody is in here and they're getting ready to shoot us." Do you know that he grabbed a shotgun because he was getting his hair cut, right? So he grabbed a shotgun that was in that shop, went over to the school, you know, ended up getting in the door. He saved, you know, his child and his wife, and he shot the person inside himself. Now, this is a person that was, you know, a state patrol. And then you got a whole bunch of officers outside that's not willing to bust a grape with someone that actually have a gun. That's an actual threat. You're an actual threat. You don't want to bust a grape But yet there's so many countless unarmed people that you would definitely shoot and harass and beat up and brutalize. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I give you that, maybe the police are just bitch made. Because I never seen a real good one. Never seen it from my eyes, never even heard it from somebody else. Maybe they did one or two good things, but on a consistent basis, like on the test, let's say on the test, if you get if it's 90%, then it's an A. If it's 80%, it's a B, 70%. But I could guarantee you it's about probably 20 or 10% of police that's good. So yeah, there are good police, but majority of them are bitch made. I want to go ahead and bring my brother Ramzu up in the building. Peace, my brother Ramzu.
Salute, salute. Peace, my brother.
Salute, salute. How are things going out there in Africa?
Things are fantastic, even though I'm ready to get back home into some action.
I feel that. Well, I'm pretty sure you're making things happen out there. So, definitely do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
We'll definitely welcome you back for sure. For sure. But how you feel about the things that's going on, my brother? The news that's been, that just recent hit the medias, what I'm saying, the shootings, the mass shootings, and what just happened with our sister. How do you feel about everything, my brother?
Of course, I don't like it, but it's just more of the usual until we do what is necessary. It's going to continue to happen. We're going to see murders by police officers. We're going to see wrongful convictions. We're going to see gentrification. We're going to see everything that we cried about. It's going to continue to happen until we do what we have to do. So, of course, I don't like it, but sometimes those things have to happen in order to push us to do what we have to do.
That's crazy. That's crazy that you said it, but that's true. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely true. But my thing is, it's been going on for a long time, my brother. I don't know what we need to see to get things.
We've been doing the wrong thing for a long time. Even though some of our leaders of the past great figures in history have gave us an indication on what we should be doing. Malcolm X said in the early 1960s, we should go from civil rights to human rights, internationalize our struggle, stop fighting for civil rights and inclusion in this system, and look for establishing our own. Right before Martin Luther King was murdered by this same government, he said we've moved from civil rights to human rights, from reform to revolution. Revolution is based upon one thing, if you study history, and it's the right of self-determination, meaning people that just stop complaining against the system and stand up to take over the system themselves and give themselves some justice. And actually, that's the first option in law. The first option in law was not to protest against police brutality, not to protest against wrongful convictions, not to protest against all the injustice that we suffer. The first option in law is to just destroy the government and create your own. It's called self-determination, and Black people have that option. We can actually stop complaining, organize ourselves, and of course the community will agree. If we can get the community in agreement for us to take over ourselves, then we can just take over and stop the police, arrest the police ourselves, or either run them away and tell them not to come in anymore. If they do come in, then they will be seen as enemy combatants, and we will act accordingly. We have actually the right to do that according to the law. But we don't know the law. We don't know our rights, and we're being misled by those who are in leadership position and dictating us for actions to do that will not affect any change whatsoever. So we will remain like that until we do what is right, until we learn to do. Many will do what is right, but we just don't know what to do. And what to do is to simply assert our right of self-determination. But go ahead, brother.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. People would actually say, like, really all we have to do is really get out here and vote. We have to vote for the right people. We have to get the right people in office, things like that. So, what is your understanding when it comes to like voting, voting locally and things like in order to make real change?
Yeah, vote, all right. Vote for yourself. We talking about vote, man. Have a black independence vote. But voting, we already know that voting won't change it. This is a democracy. It's a white majority system. So whatever you do is going to be in representation of the interests of the majority. Even if you got a black mayor, black city council, a black governor, black president, just a colonizing or colonial representative of a white system. It's not going to get us absolutely nowhere. We've been trying that for, I don't know how many decades, hundreds, almost getting into the hundreds of years now. It's proven that voting is not going to get us anywhere, but we do have an option besides voting. Nobody in history besides black people continues to vote inside of a system that oppresses them, a system that operates a genocidal system against them. Nobody does that besides black people. So no, voting is not going to get us anywhere. Name one time that voting has gotten us somewhere, unless we're voting for our own independence. So people that do that, you're just engaging in something that's useless. You're doing it over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's a fact. That is a fact. You know, I have never seen any real tangibles that actually came to the black community. You know, I never seen it. And anytime we get a black person in office, they always cater towards all the other races. They probably didn't even vote for them anyway. You know, we always get the shit end of the stick, you know, or the crumbs, you know, if any, you know. So Obama didn't give us anything. He gave most of his, you know, most of the tangibles to gay communities, to Jewish people, to, you know, all other races but us. And then even the ones in our city, you know, there's so many black. We got black circuit attorneys. We got black. We had black governors. We had black this, black that, but still no real change. You know, so I feel like it's all political, especially when it comes to this system. You know, it's just a money thing. You know what I mean? So certain people vote people in office just so they can get a bag, you know what I mean, for their nonprofits and other things. But for serious issues, there's nothing, you know, because they have a Stop Asian Hate crime that's out, and they got tons of money. The Asian people got tons of money. You know, I don't think I ever seen even Asians at the voting polls. I don't think I ever seen Asians outside, like, you know, with signs to say, hey, let's, you know, fight for our rights, or you know, or whatever. I never seen them outside, you know what I'm saying? You know, but yet they have these communities, they have this land, this stores, and, you know, we just seen an Asian pop group in the White House. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on? But still, to Stop Asian Hate, and they got tons of tangibles with that bill that was signed, you know, but yet black people has been brutalized for well over, you know, 400 years in this society, under this government, where we're talking about everything under the sun except for self-determination, you know, and taking it in our own hands. You know what I'm saying? So some would actually say that we tried that, you know, like, for example, Black Wall Street, and, you know,
Black Wall. Yeah, none of those movements were self-determination. Black Wall Street was just a black business district in a white system. They did not say, look, this is our city, we control this, we have our own police force. They were trying to seek some financial inclusion, or they were having financial inclusion inside of a white system. So it wasn't black people actually taking over. We don't need no financial inclusion. We don't need no black economic empowerment. The only black economic empowerment is if we have our own black system first, a black political system, then that's real black economic empowerment. MOVE was just a group of black people in a neighborhood. They weren't trying to take over the neighborhood and govern themselves. They were just black people in a neighborhood that people didn't like, so to speak. But I'm sure they had philosophies of self-determination, but they were not asserting that right of self-determination. So those things are different. And even if somebody did try, if you know it's the right thing, keep on trying. Keep on trying. So how many people in the past just kept on trying? I like to use Fidel Castro as an example. He tried to go against the Batista regime in Cuba and lost twice, but he kept on trying. And then he became the longest ruling leader in the Western Hemisphere. He didn't say, oh, we lost, so I stopped. So even if they did try it back then, if we know it's the right thing, keep on trying until we succeed. How many losses did the white folks have before they kept on trying?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, I think, I feel like a lot of us are like scared of, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? We're scared of, I guess, the outcome, or like you say, you know, a lot of people don't like losing or just hearing the word no, or, you know, whatever. You know what I mean?
I think people have they justified in being scared. We got a system that put fear in our DNA. They actually, and scientists have proven within the last 2 decades that things like anxiety and fear can actually pass through the DNA to future generations. So we know what they did during slavery in order to put fear into us. And so now we're born with an inherent fear. Then we watched our leaders like Dr. King, like Fred Hampton get murdered by the system, by the government. So that demoralized us even further. So we got an uphill battle as far as trying to have enough courage to stand up against this system. So only the crazy people really would stand up. I'm one of the crazy ones. Only the crazy people will stand up against this system. It's those who have been shaped perfectly, so to speak, by this system, they're going to be scared because the system put fear in them. So just like the what can I say? I like using the children of Israel as an example back in the days. They was under a harsh taskmaster, the so-called Pharaoh, the oppressor. So when they were told to go and take over, no, they saw giants. Only 2 people were willing. The rest of them saw giants because they were oppressed. They were so harshly treated, murdered, etc. that they, oh man, those people are powerful. What can we do against them? So in the same condition today, we have a master of oppression over us, a beast that this world has never seen, has treated people like nobody else have treated others in the history of this earth. And you're telling the people to stand up against them? Of course they're going to be scared. Unless you got enough, either crazy or you got enough love in your heart that you're going to stand up for your people. If you had a daughter and your daughter fell into a lion's den, naturally you would not go near a lion's den. You're definitely not going to jump in a lion's den. But if your daughter, your baby fell in that lion's den, you don't even see no lions. You see pussycats. You're going to get your daughter because you love your daughter. You love your child. So if we love ourselves enough, then we won't see the giants. We'll do what is necessary. That police officer that ran up in that school in Texas, he loved his wife and child so much that he didn't care. He wasn't scared like the police that was out there. He loved it. He said, man, I'm going in there. He went up in there, got his family, and killed that murderer out of love. But those police officers probably didn't have nobody they loved in that school. So it's up to us. We got to develop enough love that cancels out fear, because love and fear can't occupy the same space. So do we have enough love in order to stand up for our people, or do we fear what may happen to us?
Yeah, that's fact. I was actually going to use that example. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people in this chat that would say, if my son or daughter or any loved one that was in any building, you know, and they're being held at gunpoint, you know, and especially if it's just one person, you're going to figure out a way to get up in there.
Exactly. So let's look at it like this, my people that's listening. You're in a building right now getting shot down. You're in a building called America getting shot down. You next. What you going to do? You in a building right now called America where they snatch you up and putting you and wrongfully convicting you. You next. So what you going to do? You going to wait till it's your family or your member or it's you. And when that bullet going into your head and you the one getting shot down, you're going to wish you did something. See, we can't wait till it's our family members. Can't wait till it's us, because it will be us. Very soon it's going to be us. So we got to act right now. So we are in that building, in that school. Let's act.
Man, that's so true. You know, we definitely can't wait until it's either one of us, or you can't wait until it's your loved one that's pregnant that gets shot. You know what I mean? Why wait for that? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's real. So So people would say, and of course, you know, I'm just going off of what I heard from people, just so we can make
Yes.
sure we have everything straight in our minds, that we don't have the different tangible. We don't have the water. We don't have, you know, the gas and all these different things. So if we was to separate, like, how would we even survive? You know what I mean?
Who don't have the water? Who works at the gas at the gas company? Who works at the water stations, the water plants in our cities? We the one work there. So how can you say we don't have the water? The mayor there cutting on the water switch? Is the mayor the one going out cutting on the power switch, taking or putting up meters, etc.? The mayor, the city council, none of them, the police force, they're not doing that. It's us that's doing that. So we do have the water. We do have the electricity. We the ones run the city. The mayor them don't run. They're figureheads. They don't flip not one switch. And then if we do, I don't even care. You think Harriet Tubman had a meal plan ready? Was she gonna be eating the next day? You think Nat Turner had a meal plan ready? They ain't know what they're gonna be eating. No revolutionary, no, they just know they gotta get up out of here. They gotta change this situation. They say, okay, all right, now if we do this, then we're gonna have a full course. We have breakfast tomorrow, lunch, and then dinner. The next day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is gonna be our menu. Some of them had to starve, just like Castro and them was starving out there in those mountains. And in other places, revolutionaries were going hungry. You think Harriet Tubman was eating every meal? She was missing meals. But she knows she had to get away from that plantation. Those who rebelled in Haiti and other plantations, even in America and the United States, they wasn't eating every day. They didn't have no water. But they knew they had to do whatever it took to get out of that situation, and tomorrow would be better. We got to look at the Creature Conference, because that girl that got shot, Sandra Bland, I'm sure when they was putting that noose around her neck, she wasn't talking about no meals. We can't, they gonna cut off our power. She wasn't thinking about that when they was putting that noose around her neck. Whenever we getting shot and suffering and bleeding to death, we ain't thinking about that kind of, we talking about, man, how could we have prevented this if we could have prevented from being in that position? So we got, don't worry about those type of things. What's the end goal? And we got to go for it no matter what. We have to suffer to get it. Yeah, you're going to miss some meals. Yeah, they can cut your water off. What's good of water if you're getting shot down? The water leaking out of your body and stuff within your blood at the moment. Let's get real. Let's get real. Go ahead, my brother.
Nah, that's definitely real. Because, like, I feel that that's the very best way even to stay, you know, hungry. You know what I mean? You have to stay hungry. And I mean that in the metaphorical way and also a real way. Because if we're hungry, then we're gonna do what we have to do, you know, to eat. You know what I mean? And I'm saying in a real way. So
Indeed.
If they cut off our life, you know what I'm saying? If they cut off, you know, water, if they cut off, you know, all of our supplies, then we're gonna find a way. I don't think we are people that's not gonna find a way. Like that's an idea.
Man, in Detroit, they got hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of people. Their water shut off now, and probably other places as well.
There was even the guy in Detroit, I forget his name, but he created a system where he can make water out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? So he created this system. Yeah, they, you know, something happened where they end up shutting it down. You know what I mean? So they brutalized the system. You know, they did something very strategic. It wasn't by our own people. So someone was sent to take down that whole operation, basically. But basically, this black man created a system where he could get water and make water, fresh water, out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have that type of mind state where we could make something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he made this system just for the people in Flint, you know, and they shut that down, you know. But I feel we'll definitely figure out a way, and that's for sure. You know what I'm saying? So we shouldn't be scared. But how can we get out of this this mentality where we actually feel like we really need this system. A lot of people actually feel like they need the system. They need this system. You know what I mean? Like so many of us is on, government assistance, for example. You know what I mean? They can't even see themselves outside.
It's enough of us, as you know. We got to start waiting on everybody to wake up. So that's one thing the conscious community gets wrong. We think we're going to wake everybody up before we can change. There's no nation in history that had everybody woke before they instituted a change. As long as you got enough people woke, because the majority of people are not going to be woke because the system keeps them asleep. Until you replace that system, it's going to keep people asleep. So we got to change the system first. But there's enough of us that already are of that mindset. And we don't care about those who are comfortable. There's enough of us that are hungry. There's enough of us that didn't eat today to have an army that's probably as larger than the United States Army. There's enough people that was hungry right now. But those people that are hungry don't know what to do. We don't care about the people that are eating well. I like the biblical scripture which says, blessed be the poor, so there shall be the kingdom of God. There shall be the new world, because the rich and those who are comfortable, they're not going to fight for a better way, a new system, because they're satisfied with the system. So we don't care about those. But I know at least 85% of us, we are poor and raggedy. So we don't care about the other 10 or 15%.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, I like to, use the example of the Fidel Castro, and his people, because how many people that he have, to take over Cuba?
Fidel Castro had about 13 other people that went to that mountain with him. He hit the coast with about 80 or something like that. Majority of them was killed. Him, his brother, Che Guevara, and about 10 others escaped to the mountains, and they launched the struggle from there. They didn't go back and say, man, first of all, we only had 80 against the whole army. Now we only got 14 of us. Let's just retreat and stop. No, they kept on going. But they knew that even though they were a few, they represented the aspirations of the masses. So the masses ain't going to stand up. The masses may not have enough courage to stand up, but they will spiritually or support the ones who will stand up. And he knew that they represented the masses of people. It was just a few of them. So they had to use whatever capacity they had and means, strategies in order to affect some change and terrorize the Batista system until it failed. And we have way more than Castro. How many have you seen in these formations marching, saying Black Power with guns, or in the nation, or in any of our organization? We got way more than 13 people.
And I'm pretty sure Castro did not have unlimited bullets, or and all. He
didn't have. Come on, please. He didn't have the equipment. So that's one thing. Then we're gonna get into that excuse where they outgun us. That's why, man. If Palestinian, any other race of people in America, we would have did what we had to do with what we got. You got Palestinians in Palestine, which they try to call Israel, throwing rocks at machine guns. They working with what they got. I lived in Zimbabwe for a number of years. When they was in their revolution, they was telling me stories. They'd be out in the bush. For instance, it might be 2,000 white soldiers, all of them well equipped, all kinds of weapons. It might be 100 of them, and out of 100 of them, only 15 got weapons, and they some like single shot type rifles and some guns that ain't even that efficient. But they did what they had to do with what they had. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
we got all kinds, man. What you got in your hood? Choppers, AR-15, we got everything, man. Come on now.
Right. And I was just talking about on another broadcast how there's people out there that know how to create their own weapons.
Indeed.
So they call it ghost guns, but it's so many. We have access to all this technology to really do our own thing. So we don't even have to use their weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. And we're not saying go out, everybody get guns, let's come together, let's start shooting up the place. We're saying, look, for instance, let's go to this city. Let's say Detroit, blackest city. Ask the people, do they want justice? Ask the people, do they want monetary reparations? Ask them, do they want free housing? Ask them, do they want to get rid of the police force and replace them? All of them, I bet you, they would say yes. They would say yes. So now the people say yes. You take those guns and you say, look, we in control. We the new police force. Here go your houses. We run this show. Just act like you're running because the people gave you consent to do it. They give the police officers a badge, and what do? Start acting like police. You elect the mayor. What does he start doing the next day? Or she? Start acting like the mayor. Start running things. So now we ask the people, do y'all consent to your own self-government? Of course they would say yes. So then we act like we run it. Act like we run it. We got enough guns. We outnumber the police. The police in some cities, I lived in the city where they only had like 12 policemen. At one time, Detroit didn't have no policemen because of the bankruptcy. But now they only got about a couple thousand people. How could a couple thousand police? How can a couple thousand police keep 700,000 black people at bay? That's asserting their right. Now, we're not being sadistic. Our right says, look, if you don't like the way you're being governed, you can stand up and take over. So that should be our only rallying cries for the people to come together. Let's just take it over. Now, if they try to stop us from doing that, then we just shoot if we have to. That's when you use your guns. But hopefully it don't have to come to that, because they will see that you just asserting your right and you're willing to defend that assertion of your right. Yeah. Now, that's to all those who may be listening. That's our tough guys and tough sisters that's out there in these organizations. Let's be effective. Let's be effective.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I mean, we have so many groups nowadays, so many, gun clubs and so on and so forth. We should be able to do this easily.
We can. We can. I don't think some of them may not know. That's why we have to educate. That's why your platform is a great platform to educate them so that they can know. Because it hurt my heart when I saw the leader of one of the groups said the other day, said on Facebook after the shooting, I think the Buffalo shooting, said, unfortunately, we can't stop stuff like this, but we can make sure that the person dies if they do it. No, she mean, unfortunately, we can't stop this. So I had the comment says, fortunately, we can stop this. It's called asserting your right of self-determination. Now you control that environment. Ain't no white boys coming up in here because we control this.
Yeah.
They ain't coming up in here. We can control the environment. So fortunately, we can stop. We got to know that we have a right to stop it. We got enough gun, like you said, enough gun clubs, enough whatever these organizations, we can actually seize control, lawfully seize control of our cities. And now we control the perimeter. We control what comes into our cities. And definitely we're not letting no white boy come in with some machine guns dressed in military uniform.
Right.
So we can stop this. Are we going to stop it? Are we going to do what's necessary? I quote a lawyer that was reading a document from a lawyer. The lawyer said, will black people, it's a lawyer now, law professor, saying, will black people take their right of self-determination seriously and act upon it? Because if we take that right, which most of us don't know, but if we know and take that right seriously and act upon it, we can stop all of this. The right of self-determination is saying, look, if you don't like the police, you actually can get the consent of the people and take over the police department, take over the city and replace the police. The right of self-determination says you really want reparations, monetary reparations, and the people in your city agree or your area agree, you can take over your city, take over the assets, take over the buildings. Where black people live in America is over $15 trillion in real estate value alone. What can we do with $15 trillion if we just took over, which we have a right to do? Well, I beg them for reparations. It's a political decision. Take over the political apparatus. That's what the law says we have a right to do. But we have to have the numbers of people to stand up in order to implement that. What if the people that marched right before George Floyd's murder or marched after George Floyd's murder, what if they knew that they had a right of self-determination? What if millions of people hit the street knowing that they could take over the city instead of marching against and asking for police justice against police? Then we would have had hundreds of cities under our control right now. But they didn't know. So we got to spread this information and make our movements and base our movements upon the right of self-determination, not the right to ask for equitable treatment. The right for us is to stand up and take over. What else is going to work? What else can justify us, guarantee us justice? What else? There's nothing.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. That's unfortunate, whoever that was that said that, because like how would any of us actually feel, like say for your father, for example, just sit there and told his children like, hey, it's no way I could stop someone from coming up in here, but we can do something about it, I guess, after something happens. You know what I mean? Like that, it just sounds crazy.
That don't sound right. It don't sound right.
Crazy. We can't stop someone from doing what they want to do, running up in his house, or that sounds crazy to me. So there's people, especially in this chatter or I've been hearing about people that will say, how we have this fantasy of man, that couldn't be me during slavery. It's so many of them. It's so many people that they couldn't take over that one slave master, that one slave plantation, the couple of people, and then all those slaves. How many movies that we didn't see, hundreds of slaves, and it's just two people on a plantation that's looking over all of it. But fast forward to today, and we literally see hundreds of people around the police that's doing this police brutality, hundreds and thousands of people doing a protest, and then you just have a good 20 officers to control everything. You know what I mean? With the tear gas and rubber bullets, and you know what I mean. So we still can't take over. Or something happened, something is going on in our mind that we feel like they still overpower us, and it's millions and millions to one.
The truth is, we wouldn't be Kunta Kinte. We would be Chicken George, majority of us. That's the truth. The truth is, we wouldn't have ran from that plantation with Harriet Tubman. We say, oh, you know how many people in a caught trying to run? You're on your own. The truth is, most of us would not have joined Nat Turner. That's the truth. Most of us would not have joined the slave revolts, because we got revolts going on right now and ain't nobody joining. You would have asked master to treat you better, to let you pick cotton in peace. That's what you would have done. Just tell the truth. I know you think that would have been you, but right now, we telling you right now, you have a right to actually take over your city. What you going to do? You going to be Nat Turner? You going to be Harriet Tubman? Or you going to be Chicken George? Most of us going to be Chicken George. We telling you right now, you have a right to self-determination. If you don't like the way the police did Mike Brown and the justice that was not received in Ferguson, you have a right. You can take over Ferguson. You have a right to take over Baltimore. That's the law. You have a right to take over Atlanta, the right to take over Detroit, the right to take over whatever hood you're in, the east side, the west side, north side, south side. You have a right to do that. If you want to respond to whatever you want to respond, have a grievance against, whether it be police brutality, wrongful conviction, poverty in general, injustice in general, you have a right. Now, are you going to do it? You Chicken George. You Chicken George.
Yeah, definitely indeed. Definitely indeed. So when it comes to let's just say it's some people that's already a part of different groups, you know what I'm saying, like gun clubs and, different organizations. Well, what are some things that they could actually do today, they could do now and get things done for their city in the right way? Like what are some, quick things? Of course, we're not going to tell everything that we should do, like all the blueprint, but, just some things that, we can do similar to what your group is doing, just to get things started.
First of all, to get things started, the goal is to take over your city. The goal is self-determination. To get things started, start asking people, do they agree with that? Campaign, ask the people, do they agree with what self-determination will bring? It has to bring more than just a flag. So in Detroit, we told the people self-determination will bring reparations. Self-determination will bring free housing. Self-determination will bring our own police department. Who's going to disagree with that? So once they agree with that, now you have the authority. You literally have the authority. Get them to issue a vote. Have your own vote. You can do that, actually. That's the law says you can do that. So now once you get a majority of the people saying, yes, we agree, now you can take over. Especially if you got all those guns. Take over. And start running it. Act like you run it. Act like you run it. So that's why we're not asking for superficial adjustments. We're tired of that. We don't want, okay, just give us a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of justice. There's no such thing as a little bit of justice. We want our control back. Before y'all came, conquered us, and enslaved us, we had our own control. We governed ourselves. We will accept nothing less than that. That's the way we're going to get our justice. So that's where we start at. We start where we want to end. We're saying, look, we're taking control. But it can begin by just rallying the people. We all say power to the people. How many times have you marched, Comrade OC, and said all power to the people? I know I have done a number of times.
I've heard that a lot. Yes.
All power to the people. Many people listen. You have marched and said all power to the people. If all power to the people, now go ask those people and say, can you represent them and give them some justice? Ask those people what they want. Power to the people, give the people what they want. That's a song, I think.
Yeah.
That's more than a song. That's the law. If power to the people, give the people what they want, and we're yelling all power to the people, now go and ask the people in your community what they want. Do they want to end in a police brutality? Do they want to end the police force? Now you go tell the police force the people don't want you no more. We're replacing you. If we see you coming out here in those uniforms, we're going to look at you as an enemy combatant. We're going to handle you accordingly, an enemy combatant. Just begin running it. I know it's radical. But them blowing the brains out of a 7-year-old girl is radical. Them shooting a pregnant girl is radical. So we got to do something radical. Because everybody look, oh, he crazy. That's suicide. One of the biggest leaders, most popular leaders we had in the past couple of years was running around without a gun. And somebody said, look, what Ramzu doing? They're trying to take over the city, which is lawful. Well, that's suicide. Well, it's suicide happening if we don't do something, then we're committing suicide because we're letting them kill us. So that's what I suggest. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people because we think in the context of fear. Our whole heart and our brain is built upon that DNA of fear that's been put in us. So yeah, what I'm talking is crazy to some people. But there's a few, I hope, that's listening that's probably crazy with me.
That's right. So I definitely I do believe that we have to be very strategic with what we do as well. Well, of course, you want to definitely exit the hints of fear out of that strategic action. You know what I mean? So a lot of things what we do, of course, we don't want to give it to everybody and say, hey, everybody, here's what I'm doing. Of course, you want to tell the right people, but definitely be strategic. Don't just go out there and do anything, but do it right. You know what I'm saying? Do it right, because I feel like it's definitely a wrong way to do things and it's a right way to do things. But you definitely got to do something, at the end of the day. Definitely. But
you can't be secretive when it's all power to the people because you got to let the people know. You got to rally the people. Now, if you're going on secret missions and doing a couple of things, you can be secret about that. But overall, let the people know, look, we're taking over, but we need your consent. Because without the people saying we agree, you can't take over nothing. The people want to remain in the condition that they're in.
That's right. Coming up with a good plan, telling the people. So, that's I feel like there's something we all can do today, especially, Juneteenth is coming up, and we know what that day is supposed to represent, that people that just found out that they was free, So, I mean, why not, do it around this time to make something happen for our communities, you know what I'm saying? And really, really make it our communities instead of, what's going on in this community today, you know what I'm saying? Because we really don't act like we actually own these communities. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we can give each other support in these actions as well. Mm-hmm. We witnessed in the past, we witnessed since before I was born, us amassing together in certain cities. We've seen 1 million man march. When they had almost 2 million men, we've seen the marches of the 60s and 50s, etc. Mm-hmm. We've seen formations and gatherings in the past couple of years with different groups. And they wouldn't formate where they live. They traveled to a city to do that. So we're telling people we can just, even in one city, like Detroit, for instance, let's all gather with our strength and say, look, we're going to liberate this city right here. Now we got one liberated territory, then we move from there. But we have to declare a victory, create a victory somewhere. We had took 2 million men to Washington, D.C. I don't even think Washington, D.C. has a population of 2 million people. So if you had that many people in a city, you can actually take over that city. Especially if you can get the population of DC to agree, or whatever city you're in. Ferguson, Missouri only has, I don't know, probably less than 20,000 people. Definitely not no more than 30,000, but I think around 20,000 people or so. We have more people than that. Definitely more people, or a majority, on the streets when they killed Mike Brown. That majority could have been used to take over Ferguson. And likewise elsewhere. So we can gather in these cities, use that strength in numbers, and especially use our, not guns to shoot the place up, but guns to protect as we lawfully take over.
Yeah, definitely lawfully. Definitely lawfully. And I feel like the thing is, you know, we have to lead by action, because it's a lot of our people, they just talking.
Indeed.
They sound good when it comes to these different things, you know, but we have brothers like you that's actually, you know, living out their work. You know what I'm saying? You know, one of the things is you're in Africa right now making things happen. You know what I mean? And you travel here and there, but, you know, of course, the main goal is the Detroit piece. You know what I'm saying? But you living out your work right now. You know what I mean? A lot of people can't really say that. A lot of people can't really say that at all. You know what I mean? So self-determination is really the only way. Like you said, in the past, we didn't try it every other way. You know what I mean? And I don't think, you know, it's good to learn about our past. First off, it's great to learn about it, you know, learn from their mistakes as well. You know what I mean? But we literally did everything except for operating on our own type government. You know what I'm saying? Government that we made. You know, it's no way that we can operate, you know, the way that we want to and be free under this system. We have to separate from the system, create our own.
Indeed.
That's literally the only way.
And I like that word, separate, but some people get the wrong meaning and think separate. You said separate mean have our own. Some people think separate mean they got to leave and go somewhere, or go in the wilderness and build some houses on some land. Separate has the same meaning as it had if you read the Declaration of Independence, which is like the most revolutionary document in a long time, in hundreds of years. They said they are cutting the ties of government. It said this is what forces us to the separation. They didn't say, oh, we're going somewhere. They said, no, we're separating, meaning we're cutting the ties and you're no longer governing us. We're declaring our independence. So that's a separation that we need, brothers and sisters, like Comrade OC just said. We got to separate from that. That don't mean go anywhere. Just cut the ties from that government. And the founding fathers even set the precedent for us by doing it July the 4th, 1776. They said, look, we declare independence. And other nations have done the same thing, hundreds of nations around the world. We can do the same. We have a right to do the same thing. Everybody that's listening, please Google and download the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It's actually the top law of the United States as well. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And it would tell you, the first thing it says is all peoples have a right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine what their political status is. And they freely pursue their own economic, social, and cultural development. Do you want a political status of being independent? Or do you want to continue with a political status as a minority, worst class system under their government? You have a right to choose that political status. We were never given that option. They just let us off the plantation into being worst class citizens and neo-slaves. But we have that option. Law has dictated, they got it in their own books. We have that right. We just don't exercise that option, even though it's number one. Sorry, brother, for going so long.
Nah, you good. You good. You know, it's needed. People definitely need to hear this. You know, man, because I feel like it's people that just when it comes to the separation piece, they feel like we need to leave and then come back. You know what I mean? But there's a section of people that say, nah, we need to fight. We need to fight this. You know what I mean? I ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
So do you feel like it should be a session of people that should leave and then come back, like leave, go somewhere, and then strategize, then come back? You know what I mean? Like, to me, that doesn't make too much sense. But
well, they can leave and strategize and come back. Heck, I'm somewhere strategizing right now. I'm in Africa. I'm not over here on vacation. We're strategizing and building capacity and establishing some international relations so that what we do over there can't be just swept under the rug and looked at as something, a little domestic dispute. It's an international dispute for our human rights. And often many revolutionaries, they did go somewhere and strategize. Castro, and we've been talking about Castro. He went to somewhere like South America, Mexico or somewhere. Then he came back. We looked at the Iranian Revolution. The Ayatollah went somewhere, then came back. If you're a Muslim, Prophet Muhammad went somewhere and then came back. So often revolutionaries do. I lived in Zimbabwe for 9 years. The revolutionaries there, Robert Mugabe, his team, they went somewhere next door to Mozambique, strategized and operated from there, then came back. But as long as they had that same mission in mind, I don't think you're going to go somewhere just to escape the struggle, because America runs this world. You think you're going somewhere and going to escape America, you're wrong.
Facts.
You're wrong.
Facts. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, stuff like that, it seemed like it's a short time. You know, I think like a lot of people have this escape type of theory. You know, I just want to get up out of here because it's crazy. You know
I mean, naturally, you got two responses in nature: fight or flight.
Right.
Fight or flight. So either you leave or you stay and fight. So if you stay and don't do nothing, now you're really a nutcase. You really something wrong with you. And that's the majority of us. We just stay there and don't even fight, don't offer no resistance at all. So I respect those who want to take flight. It's better than staying and doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Indeed. You know, yeah. It's some real mental, you know, because they throw around the mental health, you know, things that's going on with different people. But I'm gonna say, like, it's definitely something mental that's going on with us, you know. I think you touched it just by saying fear, us being fearful, that was drilled into our mental, to get to the point where we can actually forgive people, you know, for what they do. You know what I'm saying? We forgive people that shot up, you know, or forgiving the person that shot up the people in the
church.
In church. You know what I mean? And so many other things, you know what I mean? Why are we so forgiving, you know, versus just keeping that anger and say, no, we need to fight back. We need to make this change so it won't happen again. Like, why are we so forgiving? Is it because of the fear, or is there something else?
I mean, fear is one of the things, but we under a great, very powerful and intelligent enemy, you know, and this enemy knows how to demoralize us. See, Hitler gave them a strategy. He said, demoralize your enemy through sabotage, through assassination, etc. He said that is the war of the future. So now, once we're demoralized, we saw our leaders murdered. We saw like you said, people are going to mention Black Wall Street. They're going to mention the move, what happened, the Operation Move, etc. Now we demoralized. That's what Hitler said. Demoralize them through assassination and sabotage. But they killed Dr. King. They killed Fred Hampton. Nobody wants to get killed like Dr. King or Fred Hampton. Nobody wants to be sabotaged. They sabotage Marcus Garvey. They sabotage the New Black Panther Party. They sabotage many organizations. So now we're demoralized, and Hitler said that's the war of the future. See, they engage in different kinds of wars in order to get us to succumb. And the biggest war is a mind war, a psych war, where they can demoralize us, put fear in us. And now our whole context of movement is based on a framework of fear. So everything we do is going to be, even though we might not openly think, fear is in our subconscious. So when I come up with a solution, it's going to be something safe. And sad to say, what's safe is not effective based on that context. And if you look up fear and how fear controls cognitive functions, you can't even think properly. You can't think intelligently because of fear. It's controlling those cognitive functions. So we're going to be, you know, think irrational when it comes to terms of receiving justice or acquiring justice or giving ourselves justice. We're going to think funny. But yeah, fear is that main thing that's there. Fear.
Indeed. You know, and I think just throwing these images at us, you know, also it feeds the fear as well. You know, they show us so many different things, especially when it comes to our people now. I could assume that the exact same things are happening to other race, but they'll show what's going on with us and talk about it all day on the news and just keep on feeding us these different things so we can even fear each other, and have hate for each other as well, versus our actual enemy. So that's definitely a propaganda thing, that the media is doing. Is definitely doing a number on our mind, So I'm not sure if you are reading things or if you just listening to things, like to have your mind in a way where you can block all this stuff out. Like, what are you doing to really block these different messages that's coming our way, the different propagandas?
When you have the truth and the light, then darkness can't interfere with that. You see, I like a quote from the Quran says, "Truth knocks the brains out of falsehood." So if I know what to do, I'm not going to be fooled on something else to do that's not the right thing to do. So it's having proper knowledge, and you can't be deceived and fooled by these things. You can't be driven by these things, not driven in the wrong direction. If I'm motivated, it's motivated to continue doing what I'm doing, to not be distracted. I think that's an answer to what you were saying. I don't know exactly the context you were meaning.
No, that's a great answer. So basically just not living in fear at all.
But if you're not focused on something, then you're gonna be distracted anyway. I always tell people I got blinders on, got a 1-track mind. I don't see nothing else. All I see is self-determination. All I see is us governing ourselves, giving ourselves some justice. I don't see the distractions. I don't care about the next thing. I don't care about that. I don't care about the next new knowledge that's out there. Everybody be kicking knowledge. We want to do this. I don't listen to people just dropping knowledge, unless you're dropping me some knowledge on how I can take over something and a strategy to take over. So we just got to stop the distractions, keep our eyes on the prize, so to speak. And the prize is the promised land. The promised land is self-determination, us giving ourselves justice and controlling our own territory.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Beautiful. You definitely dropped some gems today. The hope we can get those type of gems in our mind versus all the other stuff, maybe to change the algorithms in our mind per se. You know what I'm saying? How can people reach out to you, be a part of your organization, and things like that? So even if people wanted to just conversate with you, just to get some tips on what to do, how can people reach out to you?
Well, I'm on Facebook on Ramzu Yunus, R-A-M. Well, you see my name probably on the screen, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
RAMZUYUNUS on Facebook. On YouTube, you can watch. Look at some of the posts and see how to contact us. We have a website as well, a couple of websites. Our website for Detroit is DetroitGov.us, DetroitGov.us. You'll find out how we're implementing this in Detroit. And we have another website, mypower.app, where we have the vote there for Black independence on there. We have a hotline that's 888-999-6530. Even now, tonight after this call, people can call that hotline and see how they can get involved more intimately. But it's many ways. We're on Facebook, on YouTube as well, Ramzu Yunus, same thing. Just reach out to us. We're not telling you to leave your organization. We're just saying, let's frame the organization's actions upon a new term, or a new action, a new framework. That framework being self-determination. So if you want, we have our conference calls 3 days per week, 3 nights per week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called an orientation into self-determination. If you want to find out more and discuss, your group can join that. Somebody may be on this chat right now that can share that information. Or the information to get on that call is also on our website, DetroitGov.us. So please reach out to us. Let's work together. Let's bring this thing to an end. Let's bring it to an end. We got the capacity. We have the potential. We have the numbers. The numbers are just split and separated. Let's come together based on the right thing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And peace to you, brother, for coming through and dropping this science. And like I say, it's definitely needed. I definitely wanted people to hear it from you, you know, because you have a certain way of how to say it, and you're actually doing it. You're living in your work right now. You know, we just want to see it for all cities at this point. You know what I mean? So, peace to you. If you have you know, any last words, anything you want to give to the people.
Well, I appreciate everybody for listening. I hope everybody, I hope my message resonated. What we were talking about resonated with the people. If I didn't resonate, I hope at least the terminology, the word self-determination resonates with everyone. Please look further into it if you have to. Share it with others, and we'll join you and see you on the promised land. Also, salute to Comrade OC the Great for having this platform, invite me on this platform. We need platforms like this to spread the real solution instead of platforms for controlled opposition. So thank you, brother, for having me on here. Thank you for having this platform. Thank you for standing for what's right and not being afraid. Love you, brother. Love everybody that's listening. Salute.
Salute, salute. All right, my brother Ramzu. You know, that was Ramzu. You know, definitely catch him on Facebook and check out his website and everything. And as you can see right down the bottom, you know, I should have did a commercial break. For now, I'm gonna play a video for our brother Ozone during any interview. Want to pop up a video right smack in the middle so we could not forget to donate to altar.org. You know, our brother actually needs help. You know, he needs our assistance when it comes to getting proper legal attorneys, getting them paid, you know, because he has one, but he definitely have to get them paid so in order for him to free our brother. You know, right now we're in the system, but he's in the system. You know what I mean? He's actually in jail right now, you know, and he have his court date coming up less than a year. And he needs, you know, his lawyer needs a lot of money. He's one of those, you know, so we have a long way to go. So let's get it cracking. Let's go to altar.org right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to altar.org right now, as you see bottom of the screen. And so we can free our brother. You know, our brother's been going through it. Definitely going through it. He's been in a hole so many different times for different reasons. Sometimes he ain't did a thing. They just looked at him and said, hey, go to the hole. You know what I mean? They like that. They like that. You know what I mean? So we definitely got to keep our brother on our minds. I think I'm probably one of the only people that's consistently talking about, you know, ozone in one way, shape, or form. And I just would like to see more of that, you know, across our social medias. We all got social medias. Let's put that information out there. You know, let's do what we got to do for our brother Arthur Wallace. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, as we support everything that's going on around us, as you know that it's a full blown out war. You know, people are getting kidnapped, people are getting shot, people are dying. You know, so many different things that's going on when it comes to our people. We have to represent in all ways. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have to represent. So free ozone. We will free our brother ozone. You know, as brother King T say, altar.org, hashtag free ozone. All right. So I ain't gonna hold y'all all night, but y'all go ahead, if you will, chop up this video, take what you like out of it, post it on your own page. You know, I try my best to do the same thing, getting this message out and different messages on the TikToks and Instagrams. You know, I'm kind of I have an old mind when it comes to social media, so it takes me a minute, it takes me a while. Too busy enjoying life and not just the internet, but you know, I'm gonna get to it because it's needed. You know what I'm saying? But I need your help as well, you know, to do that, chop up the video and put it out there, just like you'll do everybody else stuff, even if it's entertainment. You know what I mean? You know how you do the entertainment. You find something funny and you send it out to everyone in the family. You do the same thing to this video. You could chop it up, screen record, put it out there, and let people know exactly what's going on and how to come to these solutions. All right. So, peace to the gods. And I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. One love.